Thanks for joining us for today's workout. I'm so glad you're here. Today we have Coach Pam, who's going to show you how to do each of the exercises with her own body weight and with dumbbells, including ways to modify each exercise to your fitness level. So if any of the exercises are a little too easy, she's going to show you how to make them a little more challenging. And then we have super success story Ken here, who's going to be doing exercises both body weight and resistance bands, and he's also going to show you how to do the exercise a little bit easier, just in case any of the exercises are too challenging. So please refer to either Pam or Ken as we go through this workout and modify it to your fitness level. And just be sure to use really good form, do your best, and let's get after it. All right, this exercise is called flies. It is for your chest. You can either lay on the ground and use resistance bands. Of course, you can also use a bench with these resistance bands, or use dumbbells while laying on a bench. Either one works totally fine. Let's go ahead and get up. You want to keep your elbows nice and slightly bent, just like this, and lower it down, and then back up so your hands are almost touching. Good. You can see that Ken's holding the resistance bands a little bit closer, farther away from the handle, so there's a little bit more resistance. And it's important that this resistance band is on the outside of your elbow so that you have resistance the entire time. Notice that his elbows are slightly bent, and he's coming up and he's squeezing and then coming back nice and slow. Same with Pam, same motion, all the way up, squeezing, and then coming back nice and slow. Good. You guys are doing great. To make this a little bit easier, of course, you just use lighter resistance, or to make this more challenging, you just use heavier dumbbells. Let's use one more repetition. And now let's go do a minute of cardio. All right, now let's jump rope and ready, go. And if you don't have a jump rope, if this is a little bit too difficult, it's a pretty challenging exercise to do for a full minute, you can just kind of simulate it without a rope. So as you can see, Ken here, he's just kind of jumping and moving his arms. So that's great. You're doing really good. If you need to make it easier, you can just kind of march in place and move your hands. The key thing is not necessarily doing this exercise perfect. It's totally fine if you don't know how to jump rope. The key thing is keeping your heart rate up the entire time. Pam's doing really good. Of course, to make it more challenging, she can go faster or double jump or whatever she needs. And that's totally fine. Keep up the good work. You can even do jumping jacks. You can march in place. You can do toe touches. The key thing again is keeping your heart rate up the entire 1 minute. And you have just 15 seconds left to go. You're doing really great. Let's try to go a little bit faster for 5 more seconds. Good job. In these last 6 seconds, you can start slowing it down a little bit. You got 3 seconds. Good job, finish strong, and let's go on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called the shoulder press for your shoulders. You want to go ahead and sit in a chair like this or stand straight with your feet about shoulder width apart, and either use resistance bands or dumbbells, and go ahead and have your hands right by the side of your shoulders, palms facing away, and straight up above your head till they're almost touching, and then down nice and slow. Good, all the way up, and then come down nice and slow all the way down. Good. If you need to make this a little bit easier, you can adjust the resistance bands or just use lighter resistance bands, or if you need to, just take a break in between. Of course, if you need to make this a little bit more challenging, you can use harder dumbbell or heavier dumbbells. So come down nice and slow, and then all the way up. If you feel any type of strain in your back, you might want to sit in a chair just like Ken has. Really keep your abs nice and tight the entire time and breathe. And let's do 2 more repetitions. Nice and slow down. Last one. Great. Now let's go do 1 more minute of cardio. All right, now let's jog in place and go. Good job. If you need to make this a little bit easier, you can just kind of march in place, just like this. Of course, at any time you can rest and take a break if you need to. It's very important that you just go at your own pace, but you also want to push yourself. If you need to make it a little bit more challenging, you can go faster. Really jog in place fast. Good job. Or you can do high knees. That increases the intensity considerably. Or do what's called butt kicks. Good job. And you can vary these so that the whole minute doesn't get boring. Kind of alternate between jogging in place fast, doing some high knees, doing some butt kicks. If that gets too difficult, you can march in place. You guys are doing great. You have less than 20 seconds left. Keep up the good work. Good job. 15 seconds left. Good. At any time if you need to take a break, that's totally fine, but really push yourself for this minute. You got less than 10 seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Good job. On to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called tricep extension. You can either use dumbbells or resistance bands. You want to go ahead and put your hands up above your head with your elbows to the side of your head, just like this. And you want to keep your elbows there the entire time. So go ahead and lower down your hands and keep your elbow here the entire time, so it's almost like a hinge. You're just dropping your hands behind your head and then up. Good job. Perfect. Make sure that you keep your abs nice and tight and your back straight. And if you need to make this a little bit easier, you can use lighter resistance bands or take a break halfway through. And to make it a little bit more challenging, since we're using weights, we can just use a little bit heavier weight. But make sure you use really good form. Come back nice and slow and keep your elbow there the entire time. Good. Let's do one more. Excellent. Now let's go do another minute of cardio. All right, now let's march in place. Ready, set, go. Good job. Now, if you need to make this easier, you can not, bring your knees up quite as high, or just even go slower. If you need to take a break and even shake your legs out, that's totally fine. Go at your own pace. If you need to make it a little bit more difficult, you can actually start jogging in place. You can do high knees, really bring those knees up high. You can do butt kicks, just like that. Good. Yeah, and be sure to just kind of vary this. This can kind of get boring throughout the full minute. So if you want to vary to do some high knees, to jogging in place, to then butt kicks, to then taking a break if you need to, that's totally fine. Go at your own pace, but also push yourself. You guys are doing really well. You have less than 20 seconds. All right, let's finish strong. Good job. If you need to make it easier, you can not bring your knees up quite as high. You have less than 10 seconds. 5 seconds left. You guys are doing really good. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Let's move on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called leg raises, and it is for your abdominals. Go ahead and get started. You want to lay flat on your back with your hands by your side, and actually you can support your hands underneath your buttocks and just lift your legs straight up and then back nice and slow. And to make these a little bit easier, if you need to, you can bring just your knees up to your chest and then back nice and slow. And if you have to, you can take a little break. That's totally fine. Go at your own pace. And to make these a little bit more difficult, if these are too easy, you can do a crunch at the top and then slow down, and then a crunch at the top and then slow down. And you don't always have to do them this challenging way. You can modify them by doing them the normal way and then a crunch at the top, or even then back to your knees to your chest. So always modify it specific to your own fitness level. And good, looks like we're done. Now let's do 1 minute of cardio exercise. All right, it's time to do jumping jacks. Ready, go. Good job. To make this a little bit easier, you can just kind of do jumping jacks without moving your legs, just moving your arms. Yeah, just like that. And of course, you can vary the intensity or how fast you go. If you want to make them more difficult, you can really increase the speed or even add some jumps in between. Yeah, just like that. That'll really get tough. That'll be tough to maintain, but you can alternate it throughout this workout. You guys are doing really good. You're almost halfway there. Good job. And after you've caught your breath, you can go back to normal jumping jacks. Good job. You guys got just about 20 seconds more. Let's finish up strong. Good, so you can go 5 seconds of really pushing yourself. And then back to going a little bit slower. Yeah, just keep alternating. You have less than 10 seconds. You guys are doing great. Finish strong with these jumping jacks. 5 seconds left. Good job. 3, 2, 1, and let's move on to the next exercise. All right, the next exercise is called wall sits. You want to go ahead and have your feet in front of you, have your back against the wall. We're just kind of using this pillar, but you should use a flat wall and just squat down so that your legs are about parallel to the ground, just like this. Great, and if that's a little bit too challenging, you can come up a little bit and hold right there. Or if you need to, you can even take a little break if you have to. Great, and Pam, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can do what's called alternate kicks, just like that. So she's alternating the legs in front of her, and she can even make it more challenging by doing alternate toe touches, just like that. Good, you're doing great. Now this is for your entire legs, your quadriceps, hamstrings, and buttocks. And you're doing great. Let's go 5 more seconds. Excellent. Now that is wall sits. Now we'll go on to 1 minute of cardio. All right, let's do bench step ups and ready, go. You can see Pam here has got a pretty high bench, so it's going to be pretty challenging for her. But make sure that your toes do not go over your toes. You're standing straight up and then back down nice and slow. Ken's making it a little bit easier by having a lot shorter bench. You can use something like a phone book or any level bench you want. You can even use the stairs at your house. Just modify this exercise depending on how high the bench is, the harder it'll be. And if you need to make it more challenging, you can increase the speed. Or if you need to make it easier, you can even go slower. You can even, at a point, if this gets too challenging, just march in place. That's totally fine. You have about 20 seconds left. You're doing really great. Good job. Now, if Pam gets too tired after going this tall bench the entire time, she could then, just march in place, like she's doing. You guys have less than 10 seconds left, and you're doing really good. 3 seconds left. Finish up strong. 1, and that's it. Let's go on to the next exercise. So this exercise is called stiff-legged deadlifts. It is for your lower back and your hamstrings, and you want to go ahead and start with your feet pretty close together, your knees almost totally straight, and your back nice and straight. You want to go ahead and lower yourself nice and slow down with a good arch in your back. Good, till you're about parallel to the ground, and then back up. As you can see, Ken is using resistance bands, so he has good resistance coming up all the way up. And Pam is using dumbbells. So she's coming down nice and slow, holding for a second, and then back up. To make this a little bit easier, you can either put your hands further away from the resistance to make it easier, or just have no resistance band at all. And to make this a little bit more challenging, of course, you just increase the weight a little bit. But don't sacrifice form. You want to make sure you use really good technique on this one, especially because it's for your lower back. So come down nice and slow, and then back up. And let's do 1 more minute of cardio. Okay, on to toe touches and go. You can either alternate touching your toes just like this, or touch both of them just like Pam's doing here. To make it a little bit easier, you can just go down not quite as far, just touch your shins maybe, or even just touch your knees. And of course, you can even go slower or take a break if you need to. Go at your own pace. If you need to make it a little bit more challenging, you can raise your hands all the way up and go all the way down, touch the ground, raise up. And if you really want to make it challenging, you can even jump at the end. So good job. You guys are halfway there. You got 30 seconds. You can alternate the different ways you do it. Sometimes you might want to go all the way down and touch your toes. Next time you might want to just touch your shins. Then the third time just touch your knees. And you can vary the speed as well. Kind of mix it up. You have just 15 seconds left. You guys are doing great. Keep up the good work. All right, you have just 10 seconds now. Finish strong. You're doing really well. Good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Let's move on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called the concentration curl. It is for your biceps. Let's go ahead and get started by sitting on a chair or a bench like this with your feet out in front of you. Plenty of room in your elbow on the inner side of your thigh. And you just want to curl up, all the way up, keeping your elbow at the same spot the entire time, and then coming down nice and slow. All the way up, and then nice and slow. So your elbow isn't moving around, it's staying in that stable position. That's really going to work your biceps. Good, and if you need to make this a little bit easier, you can lessen the resistance by moving the resistance underneath your foot, just like Ken is doing. Perfect. If you need to make it a little bit more challenging by using the dumbbells, you just increase the weight. All right, we're going to switch to the other arm because we got to do about 10 repetitions each arm. And have your elbow on the inner side of your thigh, and you're just curling up, holding for a second, and coming down nice and slow. That's perfect. And if you need to adjust the weight during the middle of the exercise, that's totally fine. You can lessen the resistance, or you could even drop down the weight to be a little bit lighter. Or if this is a little bit too easy and you want to make it more challenging, you just increase the weight. You guys are doing great. So they're really holding for a second, really flexing their bicep at the top end, and then coming back nice and slow all the way down. Good job. You guys are almost done. Excellent. Good work. Let's do one more, and then we'll go on to 1 more minute of cardio. All right, let's do 1 minute of jumping jacks. Go ahead and get started. And I want you to modify the intensity specific to your fitness level. You can either increase the intensity by going faster or adding in some jumps if you need to, Or if you want to decrease the intensity, you can do them a little bit slower, or even just use your arms, or even do half jacks. The key is modifying it to your fitness level. Keep up the good work, you're doing great. Now for those of you who are just doing the 15-minute workout, I've got good news for you. You only have about 40 more seconds left in this workout. You've already trained each of your major muscle groups and included cardio as well. For the remainder of this 1 minute of cardio, just continue doing jumping jacks, and then I want you to do about 2 to 3 minutes of a cool down, either by doing jumping jacks or some light cardio exercise like toe touches, marching in place, anything like that that gradually decreases the intensity over the next 2 to 3 minutes. Next, I strongly recommend you stretch each of your major muscle groups by clicking the stretching link below and following the recommended stretches. This is going to decrease your muscle soreness and the risk of injury. And finally, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back because you just completed the 15-minute workout. You did a really great job. I'm really proud of you and so glad you joined us. I look forward to you being on the next workout. And for those of you that are continuing on to the 22-minute workout or the 30-minute workout, continue on. We're almost there and we're going to move on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called push-up isometrics. It is for your chest. Go ahead and get in the push-up position, and we're just going to hold it here the entire time. Of course, this is a pretty challenging exercise, so if you need to, you can go ahead and drop down to your knees and just hold this. Is not only going to work your chest, but your shoulders and triceps as well. And if you have to, you can go ahead and take a break too. If it's a little too challenging, that's totally fine. If you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you can go ahead and lower yourself and hold in this position. Good. And so we're just going to hold this in an isometric position for just 3 more seconds. 2, 1, and back up. And let's go do a minute of cardio. All right, let's do mountain climbers and go. This is a pretty challenging exercise. So if you need to make this a little bit easier, you can go slower or even just alternate your feet. Yeah, just one at a time, just like Ken's doing, just like that. And if you need to take a break, that's totally fine. Most people probably will. This is a challenging exercise. If you need to make this more challenging, you can really increase the speed, just like Pam's doing. So this will be tough to maintain. You can always do what's called interval training, so that 5 seconds you're going really fast, then a couple seconds you're taking a break, then another few seconds you're going really slow. Just go at your own pace. Now you guys got a little more than 20 seconds left. You're doing great. If you need to take a break, that's totally fine. Keep up the good work. And really breathe. Good job. Finish strong. You're doing great. You got 10 seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Let's go on to the next exercise. Okay, this exercise is called the upright row. It is for your shoulders. You want to go ahead and stand shoulder width apart and just have dumbbells or resistance bands right in front of your thighs and just raise up with your hands close to your chest all the way up so your elbows are out and then down nice and slow. So you're bringing it close to your body up and then down nice and slow. Perfect. And if you need to make this a little bit lighter or easier, you can adjust the footing so that you have more or less resistance, more band, or you can use lighter resistance bands, or if you need to, you can take a little bit of break. That's totally fine. If you need to make this a little bit more challenging, you can use heavier weights. Just make sure that you really focus on using good technique. Really keep your abs tight and your back straight, and keep it close to your body, and your elbows are always all up and then down nice and slow. Good, let's do one more, all the way up, down nice and slow. And let's move on to 1 more minute of cardio. All right, let's now do jump squats. Go. So they're squatting all the way down, making sure that their knees aren't going farther forward than their toes. They're just squatting down and then jumping up as high as they can. This is another pretty challenging exercise. So to make it a little bit easier, you can just stand up, squat down, and just stand up without jumping, or not even squat down quite as far. If you need to, you can take a break at any time. Again, this is a really challenging exercise. If you need to make this more challenging, you're just squatting down faster and then really jumping up higher and doing faster. Good, that's excellent. Now this is going to be hard to maintain because this is a really hard exercise. So you can do what's called interval training and really go hard and fast for a few seconds and then slow it down. And even take a break if you need to. You guys have just a little less than 10 seconds left. I'm sorry, 10 seconds now. 8 seconds left. You're doing great. Finish up strong. You got just 3 seconds left. Good job, and that's it. Let's go on to the next exercise. All right, guys, this exercise is called bench dips. It is for your triceps, and you want to go ahead and have a bench and a chair, and go ahead and put your feet up on the chair, or you can have just your feet out in front of you. This is a little bit more challenging way. Go ahead and start dipping down. You just want to lower your body all the way down, and then come back up nice and slow. Good. Ken's making it a little bit easier by having his feet out in front of him, and he can even make it easier by bringing his feet up like this. Good. And if you need to, you can take a break in between. This is a pretty challenging exercise. So if you have to pause, that's totally fine. If Pam wanted to make it even more challenging, she can move the chair out further from her or even put a weight on her lap. But this is pretty challenging as is. You could always start out doing it this way, and if it becomes too challenging halfway through, you can push out the chair and just have your feet on the ground and finish the set. So let's do one more repetition. You guys are doing great. Good job. Now let's go on to 1 minute of cardio. Okay, let's do 1 minute of jogging in place, modifying it to your fitness level. Go ahead and get started, guys. You can jog a little bit faster to increase the intensity, or even do high knees, or even butt kicks, or you can vary them to continually increasing the intensity, or to make it a little bit easier, you can just march in place. Again, just do whatever is at your own fitness level. Go at your own pace. Now, for those of you just doing the 22-minute workout, you are almost done. You only have about 40 to 45 seconds left. You've done each of your major muscle groups, plus 3 more large muscle groups the second time around, and cardio, of course. So after this 1 minute of cardio, I want you to cool down, just do 2 to 3 more minutes of continuing to jog in place, and then I want you to stretch each of your major muscle groups by clicking the link below and doing those recommended stretches. All right, and you've just completed this 22-minute workout. Way to go, I'm so proud of you. You did a really great job. I'm so glad you joined us today, and look forward to seeing you on the next workout video. For those of you that are continuing on to the 30-minute workout, keep going strong. You have just 8 minutes left. We're going to continue doing the rest of the 4 major muscle groups and doing cardio in between. So keep up the good work, and let's move on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called hammer curls. It is for both your biceps and your forearms. You want to go ahead and stand about shoulder width apart and have your elbows right at your side. And you want to make sure that your palms are facing each other, so they're not facing up, they're facing each other the entire time. That's how they're working your forearms. So go ahead and keep your elbows at your side and curl up and hold for a second and nice and slow down. Of course, Ken has resistance bands. If this is a little bit too challenging, you can get lighter resistance bands or no resistance at all. But the key thing is to keep your elbow at your side the entire time and come up and then nice and slow down. Of course, Pam is using dumbbells, holding for a second and nice and slow all the way down, keeping your palms facing each other the entire time so that you're not only working your biceps, but your forearms as well. Let's do one more up and then all the way down nice and slow. And let's move on to 1 more minute of cardio. All right, let's do burpees. And go ahead and go. Go ahead and kick your feet out and jump high to the sky, just like they're doing. Excellent, just like that. Good. If you need to make this a little bit easier, this is a pretty challenging exercise. You can just reach to the sky and then do toe touches. So go ahead and show them how to do that, Ken, just like that. Yeah, and if you need to make it a little bit even easier, you can not even reach for the sky. Or just, toe touch, and you can even go slower, just like that. Or you can also take a break. If you need to make it more challenging, you can even include a push-up, like Pam's doing, or even jump higher. Now this exercise is really challenging, so it's gonna be pretty tough to do normal type of burpees for a full minute. So if you need to modify them, just like Pam and Ken are doing, you can just do toe touches and jump to the sky just like this. The key is just modifying it to your own fitness level. Go at your own pace. We only have 5 more seconds left. You're doing great. 2, 1, and that's it. Let's go to the next resistance exercise. All right, this next exercise is called up and down planks. It is also for your abs and for your overall core, and will target your chest a little bit too. So go ahead and get started. You're just rising up on your toes, starting at your elbows and then going up to your palms, and then backing down. So you're still working your core and your abs, but now you're also working your chest as well. And if this is a little too difficult, you can go ahead and go back to planks on your knees, make it a little bit easier. And if you have to take a break, that's totally fine. And if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you can do these up and down planks with a donkey kick, just like that. So do a couple one leg and then alternate to the other one. Good, just a few more seconds, you're almost done. And great, let's go back to 1 minute of cardio. All right, now let's do total body extensions for 1 minute. Let's go now. Good, so they're just crouching down, touching their shins and reaching up as high as they can. And then squatting down, touching their shins all the way up. To make this a little bit easier, you don't have to go all the way down. You could just kind of touch your waist and then just go up. Or even just march in place, whatever, just keep your heart rate going the entire time. To make this harder, you can go faster, really increase the speed, and even do some jumps. And you can even go all the way down and touch your toes if you want, and jump really high, increase the speed. This is gonna be really tough to maintain for the full minute, so you can vary the intensity if you need to. Yeah, just go back to the other way. You guys are doing great. You have just 15 seconds left. Good job. Use really good form. Make sure your knees never go forward above your toes. And you have just 5 seconds left. You're doing great. Finish strong. 2, 1, and that's it. Let's move on to the next exercise. So this exercise is called squats, and it is for your entire leg, your quadriceps, hamstrings, and butt. And let's go ahead and get started. You want your feet about shoulder width apart, and then you want to just squat down and stand back up. It's really important that your knees do not go farther forward than your toes, so you really want to sit back. Now, if this is a little bit too challenging, you can use a chair like Ken's doing, and to make it even easier, you can just do partial squats, so don't go all the way down, just like that, or you can even do what's called isometric squats. So you're just squatting down and holding, just like that. And Pam's doing it with a resistance band. She's just stepping on it, grabbing the bottom of the resistance, so there's good resistance, and you can see her knees aren't going further forward than her toes, and she's squatting back. And she can also use dumbbells for this exercise. Same foot position, she would just have dumbbells by her side. Great job, guys. Now let's go on to 1 minute of cardio. Okay, on to toe touches and go. You can either alternate touching your toes just like this, or touch both of them just like Pam's doing here. To make it a little bit easier, you can just go down not quite as far, just touch your shins maybe, or even just touch your knees. And of course, you can even go slower or take a break if you need to. Go at your own pace. If you need to make it a little bit more challenging, you can raise your hands all the way up and go all the way down, touch the ground, raise up. And if you really want to make it challenging, you can even jump at the end. So good job. You guys are halfway there. You got 30 seconds. You can alternate the different ways you do it. Sometimes you might want to go all the way down and touch your toes. Next time you might want to just touch your shins. Then the third time just touch your knees. And you can vary the speed as well. Kind of mix it up. You have just 15 seconds left. You guys are doing great. Keep up the good work. All right, you have just 10 seconds now. Finish strong. You're doing really well. Good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's it. Let's move on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called bird dogs. As you can see, you want to get on all fours and go ahead and get started. You want to raise one hand at the same time raising the opposite leg, just like this. This is really going to work not only your core, but really your lower back as well. And now, if this is a little bit too difficult, you can just raise your leg, just like that, or just raise your arm one at a time. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you can raise and pause for 1 to 2 seconds and come back extra slow. So raise up, pause and hold. Really flex your lower back and your abs. Up and pause and come back really slow. Good, just a few more repetitions. You guys are doing great. You'll really start feeling this in both your abs and your lower back. Good job. Now let's go back to 1 minute of cardio. All right, back to 1 minute of cardio. Go ahead and get started. Do whatever cardio exercise suits you. You can do whatever you prefer. High knees, jumping jacks, running in place, toe touches, whatever you want to do for this final minute of cardio, because guess what? You are almost done with this workout. You have just 40 seconds left in this workout before you get to your cool down and then stretch. You've now gone through each of the major muscle groups twice now for a really effective full body workout routine with fat burning cardio. You should feel really good about completing this workout, because not only did you complete the full 30 minutes, it was also a really well balanced routine targeting each of the 7 major muscle groups and doing different exercises than your previous workout and different exercises than the next workout that we'll have you doing next time, which is really important. All right, finish up strong. You only have about 25 seconds left before I want you to cool down using light light cardio for about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then click the link below for some really good stretches. You're doing great. Only about 15 more seconds. Keep up the good work. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7. You're doing excellent. Good job, guys. You're almost done. And 3, 2, 1. Excellent job. Good job, everyone. I'm really proud of you. You did a great job. You made it through the 30-minute workout routine. So proud of you. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to seeing you in our next workout routine.